einen ganz alten, richtig. Und jetzt kommt auf die Bühne ein anderer Kirk, nämlich der Kirk von der Webserie Star Trek Continues. Und das ist, finde ich, etwas ganz Faszinierendes. Außerdem sieht er wahnsinnig gut aus. Begrüßt mit mir, Vic Mignogna!
I don't know what he said, but I hope it was really nice. Was it nice? I think he called me a mean name. Hi guys, how are you? Have you had as good a weekend as I have? Oh my God, you guys, you have made it the most wonderful weekend. I want you to know something. I want to start off by saying this. Many of you may or may not know that I do a lot of voice acting work for animation and video games. And I've been doing it for a long time, probably 18 years. And I've done probably close to 300 different animated series and video games. When I do animation conventions, I'm just telling you this because you'll understand the reference. When I do animation conventions, people refer to me as the William Shatner of animation. Because I have a large following and a lot of people know my work in animation, right? Not here. So to come to this convention and know that I won't have, you know what I mean, huge, long lines and thousands of people, I was worried. I was scared that nobody would ever come to anything I did and that nobody would show up to the screenings. Nobody would come, and every time I met a new person, every time I met one of you, you thrilled my heart to know that the work that we are doing is appreciated and being enjoyed halfway around the world by new people, new friends that I didn't even know before this weekend. And it was meeting every one of you was an encouragement to me and a gift, a blessing to me. So I want to start off by thanking you so much for making this such an amazing weekend for me. Thank you. And I have a surprise for you. Don't get scared. All the people that didn't come to this panel, suckers, they're not going to get to see this. Do you remember me telling you a couple of times this weekend how when I was a little boy, 10, 11 years old, how much I loved Star Trek? You remember me telling you about that? How would you like to see 10-year-old Vic Mignogna playing Captain Kirk? Eric, would you please show? My own homemade uniform. Now, my bathroom was my transporter room. So I'd go in and I would say, energize, and then aluminum foil. Now, I was on an away mission here, and I tell them to beam down my phaser. So I call the ship and I say, beam down my phaser. Now, my friend was shooting the video here. So, phaser, now watch. Look at my zipper. Watch, my friend goes, your zipper's down. So I turn around and zip it back up. Okay, turn it off, that's enough. Okay, load the other one. So after I did that one, I'm like, I need to make another movie. So I decided I was going to remake The Trouble with Tribbles. I sat for days sewing tribbles. I bought the long fake fur at the store, at the fabric store, and sat there and would sew them. You know what you do, right? Have you ever made a tribble? Let me tell you how it goes. You sew them inside out because you don't want to see the seam. So you you fold two pieces of fur together with the fur facing each other, and then you sew them, but you sew it like in a horseshoe, and you leave a little top open. And then you cut it out, and then you flip it inside out, and you puff the fur over the seam so you don't see the seam, and then you stuff it with crap. Not really crap, just, like socks, tissue, and then you hand sew the little hole that you left up. Boom, Tribble. I did that 100 freaking times. For the big scene, right? Where Kirk... So, what was the first scene in The Trouble with Tribbles? They're sitting around the briefing room. Chekhov and Spock and Kirk, right? And Kirk says, this expedition is supposed to provide both experience and knowledge, right? How far to the nearest Klingon base, right? And Chekhov goes, 12 parsecs, close enough to smell them. And Spock says, that is illogical, Winston. Odors cannot travel through the vacuum of space. And Chekhov says, it was a little joke, sir. And Spock says, extremely little, Ensign, right? So, play it for me, Eric. So I turned my dining room table into the briefing room, and we started with this. Now we're doing the lines, but this is movie film, so there wasn't sound recording. Look. There's Chekhov. 12 parsecs, close enough to smell them. Spock, that is illogical. Odors cannot travel through the vacuum of space. I was making a joke, sir. Extremely little. Okay, stop. Okay, I can't even look at it anymore. But, so what you see... Hello, Space Station K7! Now you're probably... Look at this, or my bridge, my cardboard bridge. Now, what you don't realize is that back in the day, and some of you... Those of you that are as old as me, and you remember, oh look, the bar, remember? And this is my friend Matt. He wouldn't let me make his ears pointed. I told him, you're gonna make a perfect Vulcan, but he wouldn't let me point his ears. So wait a minute, as soon as we leave the bar, the Klingon guy comes walking in. So I made my friend Fred Jenkins, Cyrano Jones. Look, it's Cyrano Jones. And look, he's got a Tribble in his pouch, and he's going to try to show it to the Klingon. Get that fuzzy thing away from me. Take it away. Right? Remember all this? And here comes Ensign Chekhov again. Okay, please turn it off. Thank you, I love you. The point of the story is, when I was 11 years old, 12, whatever, I don't even know, 12 or 13 maybe by year, I was doing this stuff. If you could go back in time and tell that little kid that one day he would put on a perfect uniform and step onto a perfect recreation of the Enterprise and get to play his childhood hero with his friends, and somebody would actually shoot a good movie, he would have laughed. It wouldn't have believed you. It would have been a joke. But you can imagine what a joy it is to come full circle from that. And this was, 40 years ago. So it's a particular privilege when people enjoy what we're doing, because it's done with so much love and so much respect and reverence for the original. Back in the day, I didn't complete this thought. Those of you that are old enough to remember 8mm movie cameras and Super 8 movie cameras, before there were video cameras, they had the way that you would see the image, that you could either have a through the lens viewer or you had a prism viewer. The prism viewer actually sent the image through mirrors to the viewfinder. So what you thought you were seeing in the viewfinder wasn't exactly what the camera was shooting. That's why that beautiful shot of Space Station K7, which I just drew on a piece of cardboard paper and was pushing the camera toward, why isn't it in the middle of the camera? Like, when we got the film back, by the way, you couldn't look at it immediately, right? You had to send it away to get developed. And I would get it back and they'd be like, what the hell? It was right in the middle of the camera. I shot it right in the middle. And what's it doing way up there? Yeah, thank God for video. always thought I would go back and dub the sound of that when I was 13, but I never did. So I want to talk to you guys about anything you want to talk about. So it's a small enough room that you can just maybe yell out a question, or there's a microphone right there. So please step up and ask anything you like. Yes?
Hello, my name is Ilonka.
Hello, Ilanka. Thank you for being here.
In the first episode of Continues, there are two new things, like the holodeck and Counselor McKenna.
Yes.
So McKenna we saw already again. Does the holodeck come back too? And how was the idea born for Counselor McKenna?
I love the questions. Did you just see episode 1?
I saw them all.
I love you. Have you seen episode 4?
Yes.
Then you know the holodeck comes back, right? So here's our plan. When I started this, I thought, had the original series continued, Ilanka, new things would have happened, right? Had they not been canceled, they would have come up with new stuff. And in the animated series, they had a holodeck. Just a couple of years after the original series was canceled, the animated series had a holodeck. Now, I wanted us, with Star Trek Continues, to start moving toward the eventual next generation. What's the next generation? 100 years later? What is it? 100? 150? What is it? 70? Okay, so by the time you get to next generation, as you all know, they could do all kinds of crazy stuff with the holodeck. They did entire episodes in the holodeck, right? With characters that came to life and all kinds of craziness. So I thought to myself, well, at some point in the past, somebody developed the idea of a holodeck. It probably would have been rudimentary, pretty basic. It would have been an experimental holodeck. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have Doug Drexler, who is the man that models our amazing Enterprise in our show. Wouldn't you swear it's a model? You would swear it's a model. It's a CGI. Yeah, it's amazing. But Doug made it so well and lit it so well to look like the original model. He loves Have Gun Will Travel. He loved the character of Paladin in that show. And we thought of this idea of starting the episode right out with a cowboy pointing a gun at Kirk. We're like, oh my God, that's so Star Trek, right? That's so Star Trek. Maybe people will think suddenly we're doing some kind of a sequel to Spectre of the Gun, right? Or some OK Corral something. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have them play out this scene and then all of a sudden from off screen, you hear Scotty go, freeze program! And the guy just freezes and people are like, what the heck am I looking at? It's an experimental holodeck. Now it's very basic. And Scotty didn't invent it. He's just the engineer kind of overseeing it, installing. Somebody wrote us once and said, I don't think Scotty created the holodeck. You tried to imply that Scotty created the holodeck. No, he didn't. No, he was just like running tests on it and experimenting with it. He didn't create it. But the holodeck was one example of us wanting to slowly move toward where we knew they would ultimately be in 70 years. Now, as for McKenna, as probably you may or may not know, Dr. McKenna is played by my fiancée, Michelle Specht. She's awesome. She's a great actress. And before we ever shot the first episode, as I was casting this web series, Michelle and I were sitting around one day, and I said to her, okay, who should you play?